Thank you, Claude, for obliging me with that song. I requested that a couple of weeks ago in relation to the message that God has given for me to deliver to you today. When we signed up to be a follower of Christ, we stood before Him and we made a promise to Him that we would follow Him wherever He leads us. And from that day forward, we promised to allow Him to do it His way. As the words of the song says, He leads, we follow. He sends, we go. That's the way it should be. No hesitation, no questions asked. Our desire should be just to please Him. And in order to do that, it requires us to be obedient to His will. I saw God's hand early in the direction of today's service when the hymn was changed to Trust and Obey. And then God changed it again when Elder Mason stood before him. And he began to talk about our stewardship of time, given to God. And all of that just flows right into the message that God has for you to hear today. In the book, Christ's Object Lessons, were these words written: a certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go to work in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterwards he repented and went. And he came to the second son and said likewise. And that son said, I go, sir, but he did not go. Jesus asked the question, which of the 2 did the will of the Father? They said unto him, the first. Why? Because he recognized that the will of the Father was more important than his own will. The title of today's message is Aight. That's it. I'll say it again. The title of today's message is Aight. I think y'all get it. Let us bow our heads to pray. Dear Father in heaven, Lord, your goodness and mercy surrounds us each and every day. And we can't thank you enough for being so good to us. Thank you for being so kind. Thank you for being so merciful. And Lord, thank you for being so forgiving. Thank you for being our provider, our sustainer. Thank you for giving us peace of mind in the midst of our storms. Thank you for giving us the will to go forward when we don't see a way to go forward. And we thank you, Lord, most of all, for the sacrifice that your Son made on our behalf to give us a second chance. Lord, let the words that I have put in writing fall into the background. Lord, and let the words that you want your people to hear come forth. In Jesus' name, let us all say, amen. It is 12:33, so I'm going to get you out of here as fast as I can. I know some of you all have leftovers that you need to warm up. And if God leads you, I am available to come over. So don't hesitate to ask. I did not, for one of the few times, did not put a time on this sermon. But but I'm going to get you out of here as fast as I can. Let's get started. The word alright, A-L-R-I-G-H-T, is a word that can be considered as a homonym. Homonyms are words that sound alike but have different meanings. For example, you have the word see as in S-E-E, as in the boy now need glasses to help him see. And you also have the word sea as in the many different fish that live in the sea, S-E-A. The word all right the word all right has many different definitions. It can be used to describe something that is satisfactory, but not necessarily good, such as her cooking is all right. It can also be used as a way to surrender or give in, such as, all right, I'll tell you everything you need to know. The word Aight is a word that is considered as a homophone. Homophones, like homonyms, are words that sound alike and have multiple meanings, but are spelled just a little bit differently. The origin of the word all right began in the mid-1800s, with the location of it not quite known. The origin of the word Aight started at the same time, but in how this word is spelled and how it is enunciated leads me to believe that the origin of location more than likely came from an area that was heavily populated with black folk. Areas like Smoky City, New Chicago, Walker Homes, Orange Mound, Indian Heath, and so on and so forth. This word has multiple definitions, but for the sake of time and clarity, I will only talk about two of them. One definition to describe the word alright would be to send a warning that something bad might be getting ready to happen. An example of this definition happened one Friday night in choir rehearsal. Claude Jones Jr., as we all know, is a proud jokester. And we were sitting in choir rehearsal, and it was myself, it was David Farmer, and sitting in the row in front of us was Devontae. Well, Claude was feeling good that Friday night, so he started shooting some jokes off at Devon. And Devon laughed a minute, and she didn't say nothing. And Claude shot off another one, and, she didn't say anything. And, Claude shot off another one, and she looked at Claude and said, "Aight." Claude, not understanding that a warning shot had been sent over his head, continued to shoot jokes at Devontae, and he shot another one. Then Devon looked at him and said, "Don't start nothing, won't be nothing." That's when I realized, and I thought to myself, ooh, this thing thinks we get real. Claude, get my hand tore up. And I leaned over to David, and I mumbled to him, "I got $2 on the phone." That's one definition of to send a warning, to let someone know that something bad is getting ready to happen. Another description of the word would be to send a message of uncertainty, or to ask a question, "Are you sure about this?" An example of this definition happened during the Memorial Day weekend this past May 27th. The Brown Boyd family was having a get-together at Fuller Park. The Boyd family was charged to bring the charcoal. So seeing that the Boyd family was charged to bring the charcoal, I felt it was my obligation to light the fire. So I went over there and I got the fire started. Once I got the fire started, no one else came over to do the barbecue. And I'm waiting on somebody to show up, but nobody's coming this way. And all of a sudden, I'm beginning to get the feeling that they want me to do the grilling. Mind you, I am a vegetarian, and you want me to be the grill master. That I eat can be put on the grill and in 60 seconds it's done. I can go a step further than that. That I grill could actually be put on the dashboard of my car in the sun, and in 20 minutes, it's ready to put on bread. But y'all want to put me in charge of barbecuing this meal. So I said, all right, I'm going to do it. But I'm saying to myself, I don't want to get nothing. Because you know who you sending to do this job. So I'm barbecuing and, it looks about right. Put it over in the pot, flip over some other stuff. Okay. Put it in the pot, send it on in. Next thing you know, stuff began to come back to the grill. I'm getting word that the turkey burgers ain't cooked all the way through. So I tell Brown, okay, no problem. Just put it over there on the corner of the grill. Once I finish cooking it, I'll call for it. And thank God there were no other comments behind the complaint of the turkey burgers not being cooked all the way through. Because you know who you put in charge to grill. I did it because no one else could do it. But how it turns out, that's on you. The subject matter we want to focus on today regards to the second of the two definitions of the word Aight, which is, are you sure about this? Longview Heights is in the season of nominating people to serve in various positions in God's church. Every 2 years we begin this process to fill different positions that it takes to make God's church run properly. Some positions get filled quickly, some not so quickly, and some not at all. The Bible says in Matthew 20 that there is work for every person to do in God's vineyard. If I can witness 80-plus-year-old Herbert Brown Sr. get up and put that walker in front of him and make steps toward his front door to catch the bus to either go give a Bible study or go to the nursing home to witness. If he can do it, the rest of us have no excuse. In this place today, there are some who have been previously called to go to work for God, but have made the decision to tell him no. Not only did they tell him no back then, but have made up in their minds again that if he calls again, they're going to tell him no again. For some, they just feel unworthy. For some, they feel like the responsibility is too much for them. For some, they feel like their spiritual level disqualifies them from filling that position. And for some, they wonder how in the world could God have chosen them when they are purposefully committing sins that are against His will. Well, guess what? You are not the first who have felt this way. In God's words are the stories of people who thought that He was making a mistake when He chose them also. My first example resides in the book of Judges. So I introduce you to Gideon. The Bible says in the book of Judges that because God's people had turned their backs on Him and began to worship idols, God caused judgment to fall on them in the form of the Midianite army. This army has had a long history with the Israelites. Under the leadership of Moses, the Midianite army took a beating because of the leadership of Moses and the direction that was given to him by God. The Midianite army never forgot the beating that they took under Moses 2-3 generations later. And now God's people have turned their backs on them. God has given them to their own pleasures, and God has moved His protection from around them. And now the Midian army seeks revenge. This army will allow the Israelites to plant their food and grow their cattle, and after they had harvested what they had grown and planted, the Midianite army would invade their land, chase them out of their homes, and destroy all the food that they had raised. This went on for 7 years until the Israelites decided that they had had enough. They repented of their sins and prayed to God to deliver them from this oppression. The Bible says in Judges 6 that God answered their prayers by sending an angel to Gideon, who told him in verse 14, "Go in this thy might, that thou shalt serve Israel, that thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee?" This passage is so important because if God chooses you to serve Him in the church, He don't need you to try to become somebody else in order to do the job. He chose you. Even though you may not have the name recognition in the church, it's okay. And even though you may be financially on the lower end of the totem pole, that's okay too. And even though you may not be the smartest person for the position, that's okay too. And even though you may still be struggling to get over some bad habits, if God chose you, then that's okay too. Trust me when I tell you, if He chose you, He knows what He's doing. One of the biggest untruths that come with being called to serve God in a position of the church is that the position that you are called for is supposed to be an indicator of your spiritual level with God. And that ain't true. It wasn't true for the scribes and Pharisees back then, and it definitely isn't true for us now. The reason why God has chosen you to serve where you are serving now, and where He is going to actually serve in the next 2 years, is for one reason and one reason only. And that is because He felt that you were the best fit to do His will at that time. That's the reason why. You weren't the most spiritual, you weren't the smartest, but you were the best fit for the time to do God's will. In the book Bible Commentary, The Spirit of Prophecy writes, the Lord does not always choose for his work the men of greatest talents, but selects those whom he can best use. That's God's qualification. And I'll be the first one to tell you that when the Lord chose me to be head elder 3.5 years ago, he wasn't picking the most spiritual of all of the elders. And he wasn't picking the smartest elder in the group. I'm honest enough to confess that to you. But in saying that, I also have to add this disclaimer that though I may not be the most spiritual or the smartest, I ain't at the bottom of the pole when it comes to elders. I got some elders beat. Folk like Roger Turner, them Yates boys, Brenda Cowell, Gwen Simon. Did I miss anybody? When God chooses you to a position, the first thing we naturally do is look at ourselves and try to find our unworthiness. Every issue that you have within you right now, that you know about, and that you don't know about, and for the ones that you know about, that you're doing everything within your power to make sure no one else knows about. He knows about. And if he chose you, then he knows who he's picking. One of the things that I take joy in is being real and being authentic. The person that you see up here right now is the same person that you're going to see if you come to my house, same person you're going to see if you come to my job, same person you're going to see if you run into me at the grocery store. I have no hang-ups in who I am and my deficiencies that I know about. And if there was a song that I could choose that could kind of describe who I am, it kind of takes me back to this one song that was made in 1971 by this divine prophetic group called the Dramatics. And the Dramatics testified in a song saying, some people are made of plastic, and some people are made of wood. Some people have hearts of stone, and some people are up to no good. But baby, I'm for real. And I'm as real can get. So what you see is what you get. And God needs authentic people who can tell you what you see is what you get. When I look at Sister C, what you see is what you get. And we all know that. And it ain't no secret. When I look at my friend Marilyn Davis, what you see is what you get. Take it from me. She pointed at me right now, and I'm scared. I promise you I am. I'm scared to death. I don't know what's waiting on me. But the beauty behind authenticity is that you can serve God, and people can see you serving God, but people can also see you being real and not trying to hide behind the face of holiness that you can put on and take off. And when people see attracted to that because then they know that person is just like me.
That's right.
And that's what draws people. Realness. Remember that. Realness draws people. And if you're willing to be real for God, then God can use you to draw people unto Him. God's timetable on when He wants us to serve is up to Him. Whether it be 10 years or whether it be one day, God has that choice. But whenever God says to you, it's time for you to step down from the position that I have previously chosen you to serve, it is our obligation to step down gracefully. And not only step down gracefully, but to do everything that we can within our power to help the next person that God is sending into that position. That's true Christian servitude. If you want to see it, if you're willing to help the next person that's going on. If not, then you may not have been in it to serve God from the beginning. You may have been just all for yourself. Now that God has convinced Gideon to take the position, now He has to convince Gideon to follow His will and how He wants it done. Your success in the position that God wants you to take will not lie in how well you do, but it will lie in how well you follow what He tells you to do. One of the biggest traps we can fall into when it comes to accepting an invitation to work for God is putting our vision of what it should look like instead of letting God show us His will of what He wants it to look like. Okay, Gideon, I have chosen. Now I need for you to do it the way I say do it. And if you do, success will follow. Those that are on the outside looking in will see how well that God has put you in place to be in charge of is going. It will look effortlessly for them. Too easy. So much to the point where people will see how well that it's going that they would want to have that position too. But that will never be on the will of the person whom God put in place. If you're willing to follow His will, He'll make that job look easy. The Bible says in Judges chapter 7, that after God had convinced Gideon to accept the position, the Bible said that Gideon asked for some signs. Now, God doesn't necessarily have to show us a sign, but He knows how we are, especially when it comes to doing big things for Him. And Him in His loving kindness sometimes obligates Himself into showing us certain things just to prove to us that you are the person that I have chosen to do this job. You are the right one. The Bible says in Judges chapter 7 that Gideon asked for a sign. And the Bible says that he ran off and he went and got a sacrifice. And the angel told him to lay the sacrifice. And he took Gideon's staff and he touched the sacrifice. And the sacrifice went up in flames. And when Gideon saw that, he knew that he was standing face to face with God. And God told him, okay, Gideon, this is what I want you to do. I want you to destroy the Midianite army. But the way that I'm going to tell you to do it may not be comfortable for you. But you have to trust me as far as what I tell you to do, just do it. Because I am God. The Bible says that Gideon had 32,000 soldiers. 32,000 soldiers will fill up half of the Liberty Bowl Stadium that sits on Hollywood Street. So we're talking about a whole lot of folk. But God told Gideon, we got a problem. With the amount of men you have, if I send you in, those men, and you might want to take the credit for what I'm getting ready to do. So I need for you to do something. I need for you to go and address all 32,000 men, and you tell them, for all the ones who are here because I asked you to come, but really don't want to be here, or if you're scared and too shaky to want to fight, this is your invitation to go home. The Bible says that of the 32,000, 22,000 went home. That left Gideon with 10,000 men to work with. Gideon looked at God and said, I got 10,000. What do you want me to do, Lord? The Lord responded, your army is still too big. This is what I want you to do. Take them down by the river. And for those who bend over and lap up water like they're a dog, set them to one side. Those who get on their knees and scoop it up with their hand, set them to the other side. The men who lapped up water like a dog was 300. The men who scooped the water up with their hands was 9,700. Gideon asked God, okay, which group do I take? God said, take the group that lapped the water up like a dog. So Gideon, when God told Gideon that, Gideon said, Now mind you, the army that God was sending him in to fight, the Bible says that they were numbered as locusts. Not only was he to fight the Midianite army, but he was to fight the Amalekites also, and some other folk that came to be a part of it. And the Bible says that their camels were so many that they looked like the sands of the sea. Now God has sent over 90% of Gideon's army home. And all he has is 300 men to work with. Later on that night, God woke Gideon up and told him, it's showtime. Get your men, go on in, because I'm fixing to deliver the Midianites into your hands. But then God put a disclaimer in. But if you're afraid, go take your servant and go down into the Midianite camp, and I'm allowing you to hear something that's going to strengthen you. Now, once God had given him the word to take his men and go in, honestly, that should have been it. If we trust God, you should have taken your men and went in. But the Bible says that Gideon grabbed his servant and he crept on down there and became a spy for the day. And the words that Gideon heard were men talking about a dream that they had had. And the dream had described that Gideon, the army of Gideon, was going to come in and just totally destroy them. Once Gideon heard that, then his strength was renewed. He jumped up, he grabbed his servant, he ran back to his camp, and he hollered, come on, fellas, it's time to go now. The Lord has shown me that victory is in our hands. With 300 men fighting 2 armies, how in the world was he going to win? The only way he was going to win is if he do it the way God told him to do it. That's right. The Bible says he split his 300 men up into three sections. And he had them camp outside of the Midianite army. And the Bible says that Gideon told them, when I blow my horn, you blow your horn. You smash your jars, and you shout for the Lord and for Gideon. And when they did, the Midianite army, the Amalekites, and everybody that was there who was prepared to fight Gideon and the Israelites went into such a confusion that they began to fight each other. While 300 men stood on the outside watching, thousands of men fight each other and kill each other off. And when all the commotion had ended, Gideon and 300 men were still standing. All because Gideon did it the way God told him to do it. And that's the message that I send to you today. For some of you in here, you will be getting a call very soon from the nominating committee. And you will have to make a decision on whether you're going to tell God yes or tell him no. For some of you all, you may feel like the work is too much for you. But God tells you in his word, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge me, and I will direct your path. For those who feel like the issues that they have yet to overcome is a disqualifier for them serving in a position that God has chosen them to serve in. If God has chosen you, don't let your issues hold you back. For every one of us in here have issues. Every one of us in here have stuff that we're going to take to the grave. But yet God still calls me, and God still calls you. And if he has called you, do not let that discourage you from saying yes to him. If you feel like you just don't have the qualifications, God has said in his word that I will teach you and show you and direct you in the way I will have for you to go. So if you have the trust in God to believe that he will do just what he said, then you have a decision to make. In this church, there were actually positions that went unfilled these past 2 years because there were some that God had asked to fill the position. But they said no. All of the talent that God needs to get his work done sits in this room right now. Every position. If you allow him to use you in the way he wants to use you, you will see great success if you're willing to do it the way God says do it. You can't do it your way. You can't make decisions just because you have the power. You have to ask God if that's what you want, if that's what he wants you to do. Because in everything that he does, salvation lies in the balance. Salvation for yourself and salvation for others. That's the reason why it is so important. I would also add that if the nominating committee happened to call your name for something, but yet God has not told you that's what he wants you to do, then my recommendation to you is to not accept it. And the reason why is because he knows what he's doing, and for the salvation of your own soul, follow his direction, because God wants what's best for you. Let us bow our heads. Every head is bowed, every eye is closed. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much for being so good to us. And we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to work in your vineyard. Lord, none of us are worthy to do that which you ask us to do. You said in your word that our work is just like filthy rags. But yet you still choose us to do things to help build your kingdom. And Lord, we know that everything that you do has us in mind in our salvation. So Lord, for those who sit in the congregation today and have made up in their minds that if you call them, they're going to turn it down. Lord, work with them as you work with Moses. Lord, work with them as you work with Gideon. Lord, to show them that no matter what you have going on in your life, you still qualify to serve where I need for you to serve. Lord, help us, this nominating committee, be able to fill every position. But Lord, in order for that to happen, let every soul under the sound of my voice surrender their will unto you. Lord, help us to say, not my way, but yours. Lord, despite some of us being in position for a long time, help us not look toward retirement, look toward the end, or make a decision arbitrarily to step down so that somebody else can step up. Lord, help us to do your will and help us to follow your ways, because we know that that which you ask us to do is going to somehow, some way help us make it into heaven. In Jesus' name, let us all say amen. Before I step down, there may be some in here who have been coming, but God has been working on their heart to make a decision for him. Looking for a place where they can be accepted, they can be loved, they can fit in, they can use their talents. If you are here today, I would love to have you as a member of my church. And the promise that I give to you and that others give to you in this house is that we will do everything within our power to help groom you and raise you to be the best disciple that you can be. If there is someone in this house today that the Lord is speaking to, telling them that the day to make your decision is today, I would ask you to come forth at this time. Is there anyone in this house whose heart that God is working on, that's telling them, don't wait another day? You have heard my voice in times past, and today is the day I need for you to make your decision. Follow me and allow me to make you the person that you never thought you could ever be. Is there anyone in here willing to accept God's offer to allow him to make them into a better person and a mighty disciple for him? Let us bow our heads. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much. Help us all be willing, each and every one of us, Lord, to use our talents for you in this next coming up, in the next coming up 2 years. Help us all, Lord, to put our hands to work for you, to put our minds to work for you, to use our resources, Lord. Lord, to uplift your kingdom and to build your house.